But I'm just saying, like, technically speaking, like, when I think of personal racism, I don't think like, oh, I'm being racist to somebody that's a different race. I just think, oh, I'm prejudice. Oh, I'm being
prejudice. You don't know what the fuck words mean, idiot. Prejudice means prejudging. It has nothing to do with your fucking race.
Racism between
dumbass.
Between minority groups.
Yeah.
Like, for example, can like a Hispanic be racist towards a black person?
Yes.
Can a Hispanic be racist towards an Asian person?
Yes.
Can a black person be racist towards an Asian person?
Technically, to me, I would say no. But
what?
In a sense
Why?
of discriminating and being prejudiced,
doesn't make sense.
Yes.
Can a black person be racist towards a Latino?
Like, I would just say the same thing that I just said.
How about this? Can a black person be racist towards a Native American?
Yes. I mean, I'm thinking, but when I think of Native American, I guess that's technically not black.
Like
okay, this person's fucking retarded. I can't listen anymore. Genuinely mentally fucked, cooked. So stupid. So fucking lost. Holy shit. Please stop talking, lady. Please stop fucking talking to that fucking lady.
Because when I think of the
She's so
dictionary
fucking dumb.
the dictionary term of racism, I think about the fact that it includes the word power. When you look
power? No. Idiot.
That's why I said if y'all want to pull it
up. It doesn't have anything to do with retard.
Racism definition.
Well, I'm willing to kind of just grant this, just for the sake of argument, that the idea here of power, for instance. Can you tell me what power you think the average white person has in comparison to the average
he's gonna
black
fuck
person?
her up now.
More freedom.
To do what?
Live your best life. Like,
What?
Their round meatball donated $200. Yay, black people have never been president or on the Supreme Court or in Congress or on a company.
But truthfully speaking, the president doesn't really have that much power. So even when Barack Obama was president, like, that didn't really help people.
What?
Back and forth. I do want to, since she brought up
The president didn't have that much power.
So, okay.
Not that much. She didn't really have any power.
15 seconds.
What?
Let's say he was looking to hire a janitor for the White House, but he refuses to hire a janitor because the janitor is white. Is that racism?
He refuses. Some people will say that's racism. Would I say that's racism? No, I feel like that makes you. Yes, it is it makes you prejudice. It makes you. I would say that's more so like totem.
That makes you prejudice. She said. She's using the word prejudice to mean you're being a certain way to them because of their race. That isn't what prejudice means. Anyways.
I don't know what that is. It's racist. But
it's like white supremacy. It's like the black version of
Tom.
white supremacy.
No, but is it? But okay, is it racist?
There you go. Like,
but is it racist?
It's like the white version of no.
Oh.
That's not what words mean.
But it's not.
It's not systematic.
It's not systematic because that's just one sense, and that doesn't represent all the black people.
Right. Well, this actually hang on. This actually makes my point for me. So
if I'm gonna take it, I'm gonna just go ahead and give it to y'all. Yes.
Well, hang on. I just want to make sure. I get this right. If it's power plus prejudice, then you would need to show me what the average white man. Versus the average black man, how the average white man has more power than the average black man. I would need to know how that's the case.
I have my friend saved, but y'all won't let me get my phone. So.
I could tell you, I will say this.
Okay.
The white man has the power of perception over the black man. In other words, if a person from random walk of life would see me walking down and see Andrew walking down, most of the time, even black people, they will assume higher of the white person.
Exactly.
Who?
Hang on. That's not power, though. You're alluding to privilege.
That's their power of perception.
Yeah, but you're alluding to privilege. Then, if that's the case, then that would mean that women were more powerful. Hang on. That would mean that women were more powerful than men because they're perceived as being less threatening than men are. So if that's what you're utilizing as a perspective of, power, then you would have to say that women actually have power over men, and so therefore we're oppressed by them.
When it comes to being beautiful and having pretty privilege, women do have a lot of power over men.
So hang on, I just want to make sure. I need you to actually listen to what I'm saying first before you respond, because I don't think you actually heard me. I want you to actually think about the entailment of this. If you're saying that the perception of being privileged in society equals power, then this would mean that women actually are oppressing men because they have the perception of privilege. Do you agree with that?
No.
Okay, well then that's the entailment of your position, so it makes no sense. So then you would have to.
Like race versus gender is like two separate, different oppressive.
No, but we're not talking about that. We're talking about power. Power is the delineating factor. So if it's power plus prejudice, power plus prejudice equals racism.
Power, two different things.
Yeah, but power plus prejudice is racism. I say, how does the average white person? Hang on. Just stop for 10 seconds. Okay, I barely said a word to you tonight. Just 10 seconds. That's all I'm asking. Okay. If it is the case that you say it takes power plus prejudice, that equals racism, and I ask you, okay, well then how is it the average white person, right, has more power than the average black person? You say, well, it's due to the power of perception, because white people are perceived as being less threatening than black people. If that's the case, why wouldn't we extend this also to the opposite sex and say, well, if you're perceived as being less of a threat, how is that not power for you? True.
I just feel like I see what you're trying to say, but I still think it's two completely different comparisons. Like, I don't think comparing race is the same to comparing gender, personally. Especially
that's not an argument. I know they're different things, anytime you make a comparison,
I'm trying to make that parallel.
But anytime you make a comparison, if I was going to say, what does that fruit taste like? Right? I've never tasted it before. What would you compare it to? The same fruit or a different fruit?
A different fruit.
Right, different fruit. That's how you make comparisons. You make a comparison between one thing to another thing so that you can draw an analogy so that we can understand the point of view. But if the point of view is power plus prejudice, I'm willing to grant that viewpoint from your view. If that's the case, though, you need to also grant that viewpoint towards gender norms, because if it's just power equals being less threatening, then you have way more power than men.
As a black woman, no, I would not have more power than a white man.
Aren't you still less threatening than a black man? Perceived as less threatening than a black man?
Is a black woman less threatening than a black man?
Perceived as, yes, less threatening. So then that would be power.
It is
But
power.
you're saying it doesn't.
So then you're more powerful than the black man?
Huh?
So then black women are more powerful than black men, and black women also have privilege on par with white men because they're perceived as less threatening.
When we're talking about perception, I see what you're saying. Yes, I would say that the black woman is less. I would say that the black woman's perception is going to be viewed as more safer than the black man's perception.
Just like the white man's, right?
Comparing a black man to a white man.
No, I'm not now. Now I'm comparing a black woman. So if a black woman is perceived as being less threatening than a black man, and a white man is perceived as being less threatening than a black man, then aren't both of them in a privileged situation?
Yes.
Then I don't understand. So then why can't black women be racist towards white men? I don't get it.
The last part, I'm sorry.
Yeah, then I don't understand how it is that white men can't be, you can't be racist towards white men if the perception is that you're less dangerous and the perception of them is they're less dangerous. Why? Then you're on par with power.
Systematically speaking, I just don't believe that black people as a whole entire race can oppress white people. Like, I just don't think that's going to happen. That could ever happen, because we were the ones who were slaves in shackles, and that is something
What's that have to do with anything?
See, we still see negative effects of slavery to this day, and to me, I just feel like it doesn't compare.
Yeah, just like white men who were taken by Barbary pirates and were enslaved, and various Irish who were brought over as Yes, hang on. Listen, when you talk about systemic racism, the idea that because black people were imprisoned against their will, they were. Okay, or indentured servitudes, they were that too. So were the Irish, so were the Italians, so were many white groups. Okay, that would also bleed over necessarily. The whole idea of intersectionality that you're talking about is that we look at key group demographics to see who's the most oppressed based on what. The problem is you have to take that all the way. You can't just stop at one kind of like overview of oppression. You literally have to intersect every idea. In this case, then, we would have to do the same thing with gender. And if it is true that you think that white people themselves are just perceived as less threatening, therefore privileged, you yourself as well.
I do give that to women being perceived as less threatening.
So then you're more powerful.
She just don't think that power applies to when comparing black women to white men.
Why?
She's saying that if she agrees with that,
Then what other power do they have that black women don't?
It's like race and gender are two completely different things.
Then what power do white men have, the average white man, that a black woman doesn't?
perception.
Yeah, but the perception is the same. They're both not threatening.
You guys are going to go to school more often. Y'all are going to get the better high-paying jobs. You guys don't have to worry about who's going to kill you, what cop is going to kill you for the color of your skin. When you get pulled over, you don't have to worry about, is this cop going to take me to jail just because I'm black?
Wait, hold on, really quick on the whole police brutality thing. You do realize that there are more white men killed by police than
Because
there
there's
are.
more white
Hold on,
men.
stop. You gotta stop. No, hold on. We'll be here forever if you guys keep interrupting. So, okay. You do realize there are more white men, just white men, who are killed by police than there are women of all races combined. And the discrepancy between men
I mean,
and
that's
women,
not per capita.
the killings there, is greater than the discrepancy that exists between white men and black men. So would this be evidence of the police force being sexist?
I didn't understand your question. I'm sorry.
Okay, you're talking about the discrepancy in police brutality and
Wish we
police
could have just gone
misconduct
down
and
on one
police
at a time.
killings. When it comes to police
would've been
killings,
great.
right?
This is
You're doing
not
a
this is a great
between
like
white men and
argument
black
from Brian.
or black people. However, this discrepancy is greater between white men. If you compare white men, the amount of police that kill white men, there are more white men that are killed by police than women of all races combined. This includes black women, Latina women, Asian women, and white women. And this difference between men and women is much greater than the difference of police strictly when comparing between white men and black men.
And also, just so you know, black men go to college more than white women do. So I don't know where like this idea though of power when we're discussing power.
What
When
about
I'm
black women?
When I'm asking about well, hang on. Let us assume for a second that black men never go to college and only black women do. Okay. One of your key points for why it was that you couldn't say that a black woman was as privileged as a white man is because black woman has to worry about where they go to school. Well, the stats really don't show that. They show, in fact, the opposite. So black women enter college at a higher rate than white women, Hispanic and black men. So the thing is that what I'm really looking for here is I'm just looking for the average white guy. How is he more privileged than the average black woman? How?
How is the average white guy more privileged than the average black woman?
Yeah.
In a lot of ways.
Answer that. Well, let her answer it.
I'll let him take it away.
You know, you let him take it away. Right. He's in a lot of ways, but you're not sure. The thing is like, because if it's not the case, then that means that at least black women could be racist towards white men, right?
No.
No. Okay. No. Then the power plus privilege doesn't operate that way then, but okay.
There's way more powerful white men in the world than powerful black women. Let's be serious.
Yeah, but I'm talking about the average white guy.
You drink or something?
So we're talking about the average white guy, just like some guy who was born in you know,
These girls are
I gotta hear that again.
the average white guy.
you drink or
Yo, he's like, yo, he
Let's
just
be serious.
Yeah, but I'm
interrupts.
talking about the average
Says that.
white guy.
you drink or something?
So we're talking about the average white guy, just like some guy.
Her head was dipping down. Yo, he's like, yo, like you're on live TV. Like,
Guy who was born in
Starts working, make it fun.
shit is funny.
Let's
dude.
run back the tape. Just
Yo,
say
what the fuck?
Okay, if you didn't
What
say
the
that, okay, I
fuck?
thought I heard it. I thought what you said boring.
Yo, what the fuck?
She said this
Right.
is boring.
And so I thought you said
Yo,
we're
what the
fucking boring in
fuck?
response
You
to
need an
her.
energy drink or something?
Oh my goodness.
Yo, what the
Well,
fuck?
No. So I'll just run the clarification there real quick.
Move on.
She made a knock joke.
How long until Brian says, yo, what the fuck? How long until?
And the knock knock joke
Yo, what the fuck? Watch.
was, you know, she had
Let's
like
see.
a bad knock knock joke,
Soon.
and then my response was, "You suck and you're
How many
boring."
minutes
that was
until
that was the
Brixton
joke.
says, yo, what the fuck?
Just so you know.
In a minute.
Sorry, I am
He's
doing
getting
a lot of
frustrated.
misogynistic mansplaining this evening
He's
in a very
getting
calm
frustrated.
voice where I can totally see where
Brian
I would
is
be
tilted.
labeled as a complete total
He's getting
misogynist,
tilted.
being charitable to your
Moving
worldview as I
around,
could
he's rubbing
possibly
his
be. That
eyes.
seems stressful.
He's
I would
Can I just say this?
say-
Can I just say this? I definitely understand what Andrew's saying. In the modern
Yo,
time,
what
I feel
the
like
fuck?
based on the laws and based on a
Something's
lot
gonna
of
happen.
narratives and feminist movements, that the perception is saying that women of all races in America has caught up to anybody with a privileged position. But on the contrary, historically, especially when it comes to America, it's hard to catch up to the
I'm gonna laugh
assumed,
so hard if he says it.
perception of the
So
white
much.
male. I'm not saying it's impossible. I'm not saying that people are gaining ground, but it is what it is. White men are perceived as less threatening, more intelligent, more advantageous than black people. Not saying that y'all do, but a lot of people assume that. And then if you want to even break it down, because even you brought up women.
Is it black people or is it black men?
I think it's black people. But I think black men probably get the worst of it. But I think it's black people, but especially black men. But I feel like when you brought up white women, you said that a lot of white women don't go to college, more black women do. I think that speaks because I don't know if y'all familiar with the wealth gap. Black people don't have what you have, so they're gonna probably be in more positions where they have to go to school. A lot of white women
It's due to affirmative action, dude. It's due to affirmative action.
I'm saying, of course, but affirmative action had to come about for a reason. I'm not saying it's right, but it came about because it was a. Let's not pretend like this country doesn't have a history of discrepancy. Now, maybe it's a little more different today, but this country was founded in classism and racism. That doesn't mean every white person is racist. That doesn't mean every white person has to deal with the brunt of that. But collateral damage is a real thing. Like me, I'm tall, I'm dark skinned. People of all races sometimes assume, even my own people, that I'm mean, I'm threatening because of the stigma that come with certain black men.
So what the fuck does that have to do?
With the collateral damage of their
Oh my God.
social group, gender group, like women. They got to deal with the collateral damage of the 304, of the OnlyFans model. So men say, hey, I don't know if she's not like that. Like the video I did, I said women standing too close to the hole, so we can't tell the difference. So white men are not, or white people are not, they're not absolved of that collateral damage either. It doesn't mean it's right, but it's real, and we all have to deal with that. So people are you still have an advantage by the average person perception. They do social experiments overseas all the time. There'll be a black guy walking like he's blind, and they'll push him, and then a white dude do it, and they'll bring him. So it's not fair. It's not your doing, O'Brien's doing, but it happens, and we can't pretend that that's not the case.
Yeah, but the problem with the entire kind of
Andrew, this is like
Okay.
absolutely.
all right, I'll let it go.
So, yeah, I gotta let the police in here. I'm sorry. I can let you respond later, Andrew. We'll see how.
Racism is prejudice,
Don't worry about it, Brian.
discrimination, or
We're not here
antagonism
for that.
by an individual, community, or institution against a person or people on the basis of their membership in a particular racial or
Fucking
ethnic
destroy
group.
that bullshit, though.
That is the. By the way, we do have a rage, but that is the definition of racism. If you have objections to this definition,
The only thing I would say is if you look at racism, it depends on which like dictionary that you would look to. Because I've seen definitions where they also input the word power or something about like systemic.
The systemic racism and racism are two different things, though. We shouldn't conflate the two.
That's true.
Anybody can be racist, but everybody doesn't have the power to prevent upward mobility based on race. And historically, in our recent time, the only person that really had the power to do that in America has been white people.
Especially
all right,
like
go ahead, Morgan. Can you read this?
You claim misogyny from men who are married and have multiple daughters, yet have you ever taken a moment of self-reflection to consider that you individually are the lonesome one?
Lucas, this came in a little bit out. Do appreciate it.
I feel like he's talking.
You got
You like
response?
Georgia?
No.
You got response?
I'm gonna say I don't think I'm lonesome. I love my life. I'm pretty happy with what I got. I hope you love your life too. But I'm not the one watching the streams spewing hatred at the guests. So
What did he say that was hateful?
That whole long sentence that he said.
Was that Lucas again?
Yeah, it was him.
From earlier.
Yeah, he said something about us just not making sense and just talking and saying whatever, and how we're 304s. So yeah, he did say a lot of little jabs.
Eric, I love you, brother, but you're using the Morgan Freeman hypothetical example. Who would a cab driver pick up driving up Fifth Avenue? A black guy on one side, a white guy on the other side.
It's not a. See, this the problem, and I'm gonna just keep it 100, super dollars.
Bro,
I don't have.
we got.
All right, go ahead. I can't answer it, no problem.
Go ahead. 30,
No,
20 seconds, but
We
gotta keep things
serious.
We gotta keep things short. We gotta keep things short. We can't.
We can't get into the
These girls are
racialism.
fucking leaning on me about the fucking times.
We can't get into the
Someone
racialism.
put up tier 1 to wake up.
Yeah, she rage quit. She left.
Good sleep.
She had to go do more.
Yeah, I mean, she came in high to the studio, totally disrespectful, super disrespectful to come on the show where you're expected to be able to have conversations and come in fucking baked out of your mind. Super disrespectful.
Brian.
I mean, you
Angry.
guys have required me to repeat myself multiple times. You don't even
You do that regularly.
You're not
we
even
watched
like
the previous episode on the way over here.
do what?
You repeat yourself and repeat the question multiple times, if asked or if needed, and it's stated.
Yeah, but if like that's due to like a misunderstanding, but if you're under the influence of drugs, it's
You're
just
drinking champagne.
are you, bro? What?
Bro.
I literally had like 3 sips of champagne.
I literally had 3 puffs of a joint on the way.
And I've been listening to everything you guys say. I don't require you guys to repeat yourselves multiple times. I listen, I pay attention. You guys don't.
I think I've been doing
Yeah, I paid pretty good attention.
Racism noun, the belief that each race has distinct and intrinsic
I gotta take a leak.
attributes. The
Well,
belief
this whole
that
thing
one race is
now.
superior to
Hopefully we can
all
get it back on
others
track, but it's
through
going fucking
prejudice
wild
or
now.
discrimination based on race.
All right, thank you, Desert Joe. Did we this one from Lucas? Did we read this one?
His hypothetical is incomplete. Ask yourself this follow-up: who the cab driver picks up if the black guy was dressed in a 3-piece Brooks Bro suit and the white guy was dressed as a Hell's Angel?
One dressed more better than the other.
I'm gonna slow down the show. You want me to respond? Or?
Go ahead.
Oh, I mean, there's some truth to that. We're not gonna make it a broad 100%, but let's just be real. In most cases, you know what I'm saying? That they would have to be dressed like that in order to make that distinction. But if they were both wearing a suit, I mean, I don't assume people are racist. I just know that this country is what it is, and everybody's not as developed and advanced as we are. Some people still stuck in that mindset, black or white.
Yep. All right.
Crazy statement.
Let's see. Gender pay gap. Are women oppressed in the USA? Well, that's is gone. We have. Let's see. Are women oppressed in the USA? Payden, you say yes. Lindsay, you say yes, or you yes. And then Lily, you think women are oppressed in the USA. Al?
Is that the question?
Yes.
I think we kind of double back and talked about that previously.
Well, we're talking about rights, but oppression is a little bit different. So how are women oppressed?
So for me, it goes hand in hand with, right, that mental, that mind state. And again, it's like being taught certain things and being
I would just
being
throw them
taught
all
like,
out at
oh,
this point.
this
Just
is
throw them all
okay.
the fuck
Or
out.
this
Throw 'em all
standard,
out
this
in the
level
fucking
of
show,
learning,
who cares?
education, knowledge, or you're supposed to do these things and only these
How do I
things.
piss so
What in your
quick?
lifetime
I've
have
told you
shown
100 times.
the
I've got
product
a
of oppressive
sliding
women
glass door literally right next to
from
me. And I
Margaret
just
Sanger.
opened it.
Today,
Backyard.
in your lifetime, how are women being oppressed
Because I live in the
in
country.
America
And
right
all men
now?
do that when they live in the country.
So besides abortion, is that not oppression?
Answer the question.
I mean, this.
Like abortion is
I don't think it's oppression.
You guys live in California, so what?
What about the women that don't live in California?
Let's do this. Okay, women are oppressed. You're women. How are you oppressed? Yeah. Do you think you're oppressed?
Yeah, I've definitely felt from time to time in different stages of my life, like in work and stuff. I've worked in different aspects of life, and I felt people belittle me. I felt men put me below.
Yeah, but individual men belittling
Me too.
is not oppression.
You think men, you know how much we get belittled by other men? Our whole lives. It's like.
And you don't think it's worse for you? You don't think it's worse for you as a black man?
Being belittled is not oppression.
I'm not sitting here talking about
Silence.
I live under oppression. Y'all are. I'm trying to figure out how do you equate
I say I live under oppression always. If this question asks, like,
oppression to me?
You don't
is
even fucking know what it
a slave
means.
was living under oppression where you were made to do something. No one's making you get pregnant by a man that you deem undesirable. So that's not oppression. That's self-oppression. And now, if you're being, as far as keeping a baby, you didn't make it alone. So that's the crazy thing about the baby thing. You're carrying it in your body, but it's not made just by you. And when it comes out, it's not just responsible for you. So that's, I'm just saying, but it's not even what you bring up in this abortion thing, that's still something that's a part of the man as well. So it's not just a you thing. What strictly about women is oppressive today? Because abortion to me don't count, because that's, the father is also responsible for that child. So what individually, outside of abortion, which is two parents, is oppressive to women today?
Mm-hmm.
I feel like you kind of really just disregarded the whole thing on it wasn't even about my it's about my body. And what
Exactly. That's a
Answer a
but it's
question.
about your. But if that child ain't just, but that child is not just yours.
sexual assault against me, right? And the other percentage
Yeah,
of
you're a
it.
victim of a crime. That's you're not oppressed.
Exactly. We're talking about outside of.
Men can be victims of crimes too. You're not
We're
oppressed.
talking about something that's strictly exclusive to women, like how circumcision is exclusive to us. That have nothing to do with another person, because a baby is a product of two people and two genders. I'm talking about something strictly for you that's oppressive today that you can't prevent, because you can prevent getting pregnant. A slave had no choice. He had to be a slave. You don't have to get pregnant. So what positions that doesn't require you to do anything that makes you oppressive today?
Does it count if I say like the gender pay gap disparities in America?
There's not gender pay gap.
There's
Is
not.
it so? I mean, let's just give you that.
There's
Is
no
it
such thing.
such a stretch that that's oppressive? Like we talking about? Are y'all I think we like a few cents ahead of y'all. It's like it's not even crazy.
That we bring up is
Well, I know, but I'm just saying, just
good enough to be justifiable to you.
because you talking about 50, 60 cents, like.
So you're trying to say our answers to that are like.
I just want something. I'm talking about something substantial.
How about this? Okay, fine. Cool.
I just want something.
How about this? Why don't we go ahead and grant that the gender pay gap is conceivably oppression towards women? You would then have to acknowledge all the other gaps that exist. For example, men die 5 years earlier. Would you guys?
How is that relevant though to?
It's literally a gap.
You're saying that makes them
Men
oppressed?
No. It's not really relevant to the gender pay gap, I suppose, but it's a gap. So I'm trying to follow the logic here. So if a gap exists between men and women, if the gap is negative when it comes to men's experience, then that's evidence of like male oppression.
Sure.
Okay, so for example, bringing it somewhat related to the wage gap, because this has to do with work. Men are much more likely to die on the job. Men are more likely to die on the job gap. Is that oppression?
If that's how you want to see it.
Yeah. And then tying it into the wage gap, if men are much more likely to die on the job, would this indicate that men are much more likely to work dangerous jobs? Like for you guys to be willing to work a job where you could die doing it, wouldn't you want to be compensated more? And wouldn't these jobs tend to compensate more?
But what about like the actors and the surgeons and the
actors? You
Yeah.
mean OnlyFans girls who make way more?
I said actors, not models or sex workers. I said actors, like actresses. Like I've seen like pay gap disparities in actresses, like between men and women.
What about the NBA?
Oh yeah, that's another way.
Yeah, do you think?
And male,
Yeah, don't bring up that. It's gonna win that. I'm talking about you. They ain't gonna win that one.
that's another one.
No, but
Do you think do you think the women who play in the WNBA should be paid the same as the?
LeBron, though?
NBA players?
I think they should be paid more, but I do understand that it's
They
not
don't
viewed
make
as much as the
anything.
NBA, so because they're not.
Yeah. Wait. Also, here. So when it comes to
They're
the
like
gender
a net
pay gap,
loss.
there's the uncontrolled and then the controlled pay gap. Uncontrolled is basically you're comparing all women who work to all men who work, and you're just doing a straight comparison without factoring in hours worked, type of job, seniority, any sort of like the company. You're not factoring in any of that. When you control for everything, it shrinks to 1 cent. Men make 1 cent more than women. And then this can easily perhaps be explained away. You want a guy to pay for the first aid? You want a guy to pay for the first aid? You want a guy to pay for the first aid?
Yeah.
Women, by exerting a social pressure, a mating pressure on men that doesn't exist on you, by your own actions, men are thus more motivated to succeed. They're more motivated to earn money than you guys are, because you guys know you're not being assessed. You're not going to be precluded from getting sexual or romantic interest from men because of your money. But plenty of women are going to completely zero men out if they can't pay for the date or provide in some capacity. Women are putting a mating pressure on men that doesn't exist in you, and this solely disregarding the hours worked and the type of job, just women's own mating pressure that you guys on the individual and group level apply on men completely would explain the wage gap, because you expect men to go out there and earn money so we can take you guys out on dates.
I don't think it completely explains it, but I feel like
Maybe not.
It's to some degree, like I hear what you're saying, but I wouldn't say it completely explains
How about this? So, do you think men are highly motivated when it comes to like getting romantic or sexual relationships?
Yes.
Yeah, highly motivated. In fact, they're so motivated.
Okay. How much money does the NBA make in a year? The NBA generates a significant amount of revenue each year. In the 2023 and 24 season, NBA teams generated a total revenue exceeding $11.34 billion US dollars with a B. $11.34 billion. That's more than the GDP of like some small countries, I think, as they say. $11.34 billion a year. How much does the WNBA make? Around $60 million. Around $60 million.
They'll pay money to get sexual access, right? Are you guys willing to pay money to get sexual access from men? Who's the
other women.
Who's the primary consumer of OnlyFans? Men, right? So okay, men are highly motivated. Perhaps you could even say highly desperate to get sexual access to the point that they pay for it. None of you guys would even consider spending money. You would fucking be like, what? You want me to pay you to? No, never happens. Men are willing to pay money to get sexual access. You guys get that for free very easily.
Just blame that on the women. That's like the new day and age and what has been taught over time.
The point
like it's not just a women thing. Women don't teach you and put these things in your head and
that's instinctive. No one's taught to.
Well, wait, women do teach you. Who do you think? Hang on, women do teach this. Who do you think teaches all the kids in school? Is it men or women?
Men and women. Okay.
No, it's mostly women. It's overwhelmingly the teachers in school are women. Overwhelming.
Your parental figure, the male.
You mean the parental figure? Wait a second.
The general.
Well, let's talk about the parental figure. The parental figure is sending the kid off for 8 hours to learn from women. 8 hours a day plus to learn from women. What are you talking? Like, it's not even close. The amount of parenting time versus school time, not even the same universe. So yeah, it is women. who are teaching men. It is women who are teaching young women. Yes, they're overwhelmingly the teachers. I don't know what to tell you. They are. Like, that's a fact, right? So when you say, oh, it's not women. Women aren't teaching our young men this. It's like, yeah, they fucking are teaching our young men. Who else is teaching them? They're the teachers.
And I worked in the school, and they're not that embracing of men in the school system like people think. Because I hear a lot of people say, there needs to be more men in the schools. They don't really want us there. I worked in the schools for 8 years. They don't want objective men in these schools. They want women who's going to take instruction and stick to the curriculum. So,
But yeah, I mean, if you guys expect men to pay for first aids, men are going to be more motivated to make more money than you guys. It comes down to motivation.
and think about it. If the average man is being asked to make $200,000 to $1 million, we got to make more money. So you can't say, oh, we don't make enough money, but then you say, I want them to make more money.
But
It's like, come on, y'all got to, it's like y'all just want to be right. Not y'all.
just thought about
Go ahead.
so how he brought up the fact that Black women are graduating like the most from colleges and stuff like that. Think about those Black women that graduate from colleges and then go and try to get these jobs, and then they're getting paid less. I also feel like it's like intersectionality.
You got to go right into the mic, or else we can't hear you.
Sorry.
Yeah, you're good.
I feel like there's also some intersectionality that comes into it because, yes, Black women are going to school and graduating at a higher rate than other races and genders, but when it comes to pay gaps and pay disparities, Black women are being paid the least amount of money.
No.
But unfortunately, Black
That's
women
not
always
true.
telling Black men that they make more than them. So it's like on one hand,
Well, there are statistics to prove that too, also.
No.
but you see how you wave the finger at us, but you say I'm a victim to other people. But you know, don't shit on us about the money then.
All right. Still not sure about the whole female oppression thing, but congratulations to you, though. Asian women are out earning white men. So good job, I guess. You're welcome. Okay. And then
They are though.
maybe we'll try to wrap early today. We'll do a couple more topics and then just try to wrap early.
Dang, how long do you guys usually have these panels?
I mean,
I broke the record.
Damn. I go breaking double records.
I'm trying to think if there's a couple chats that need to come through. Here, I'm gonna let this go. One sec, guys. We have a chat here from Joe Murphy.
Joe Murphy donated $100. The race car topic is debunked globally with Thomas Sowell. This existed around the world. Fun fact, the International Communist Party targeted Black American men to join to Marxism 1930s. Neo-Marxism.
They always bring up Thomas Sowell, bro. Like, that's the go-to.
Did this come up? Yo, AV Check, thank you for the gift of 20 memberships, man. Really appreciate it. Any other topics from the panel that you guys want to talk on before we do the roast session?
Rose. I didn't know that was a thing.
See, if you'd watched any of the episodes before this one, then how'd you know that? How'd you not know that was a thing?
I don't think I watched it all the way through to that.
There you go.
Watch the whole 7-hour stream.
I watched some that were like 3 hours, some that were like.
Yeah, it's really funny. I don't actually understand it. It's like I go on a lot of shows. A lot of shows, and I do a ton of debates with kind of high level brutal debaters. And I'll do research on a show or on an opposition debater for 30, 40 hours. Like I won't even think twice about it. And you're going to go on a show and you're not even going to be bothered to watch like one content episode?
Yeah, definitely did. I watched at least 2 or 3 of them.
I didn't watch a full episode. So I definitely I started watching.
This is a different generation, and you know the attention span ain't like it used to be.
Yeah, you can see on the app that these get hundreds of thousands of views. You'd want to have a good showing or present yourself kind of with your best foot forward, this type of thing, I would think. And it's like, you can't be bothered to watch one episode of the show you're going to go on? Really?
I could be wrong, but I think a lot of girls come on here because, for the visibility. I don't think they really... Y'all did pretty good, but a lot of women, I don't think they come here with their plans on contributing. They just want to be cute and look good, and just, get that visibility more than engage in the conversation. So I think some women just want to get views and update some proper account.
I had some info on my phone, but y'all took my phone, so it's okay. I'm just trying to argue what I remember.
I mean, they take my phone in studio too. The only advantage that I have here, and I will admit it's an advantage, is that I can look up statistics where you guys can't. But I do try to do that in a neutral way, or just give them to you, and then from there you can kind of argue it out, rather than trying to use them for the crux of an argument. Because I agree that that's fundamentally somewhat unfair, right?
But we'll look up statistics that you got too. It's fair to do it.
Let's see, age gap. Is it wrong for a 30-year-old to date a 19-year-old? Peyton, you said yes. Let's see.
This panel's fucked, dude.
Winter, you were against the age gap stuff. Ninzi, against the age gap stuff. Lily, against the age gap stuff. Okay. What's the biggest age gap you guys have had?
Probably 10 years. But not when I was under 21.
Okay. What about you?
About 7, 8 years.
What about you?
Yeah, I think it's like 10, 12 years.
Yeah, I honestly just don't understand that. I'm just always researching.
How many? What?
I'll literally do.
What's the
debates. Debates. I do it on my Discord all the time just to make.
So if I got Andrew to agree to do a debate with me or a show, then that means he has to watch 40 to 60 hours of me play Minecraft.
Sure that I'm ahead of the curve in every avenue I possibly can.
Yeah, I would say like 30.
He'd be like, "What the fuck, bro?" Great.
I wouldn't go much above 40.
What does this have to do with anything? What does this have to do with anything? But Andrew, mob grinders, what does this have to do with anything?
Things that I'm more like getting to know people. Because then it's the same thing. What's the lowest OJ? I mean, obviously like 21, 18, but.
So you would date a 45, 50-year-old?
I think that's my favorite Andrew quote. What does this have to do with anything? Anything at all. Nothing.
What Jared looks like if you played an orc and set appearance to random.
What the? I got paused again. I don't know what happened there.
High body county women are like used never should.
Oh boy, I don't know. I think I accidentally unpaused it, and now it's gonna read every single one that came through. Let's see. I hope not, but we'll see. I think it's okay.
You had this Ghostface, the rapper?
I'm not sure actually. Maybe.
That'd be funny.
I don't know.
Funny boys.
Oldest guy you would date? I forgot where we left off. Yeah.
Maybe 32.
32.
Okay, this was a rough night. This was a rough
Is it wrong for a high body count man to prefer to date a low body count? Actually, how about this? Since not to move off of it too quick. What is actually wrong with the age gap relationship? All of you said it was wrong or whatever.
Well, it's wrong with the age gap specifically, but I feel like if you're under 21, I feel like it's just a little like weird for somebody who's super old, like 30, to be wanting to date someone under 21. Like you can't even. What do y'all have in common? What are y'all gonna do